Hello, everybody!
Hi!
Hi! Welcome to Reckless Attack. We are a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. I am your Dungeon Master, Nathan. Thank you all once again for tuning in to our humble fantasy program. I am joined here, as always, with my beloved 4 players, and we will have them all introduce themselves right the heck now, starting on my left with...
Hi, it's me, Sophie. I play Valeska Carter, the human astro cleric of the Arcana domain, and I, Sophie, don't have snack and cheese.
Oh, no.
It's the me,
Oh,
Sophie.
no.
But to my left,
Hi, everyone. It's Jonathan, and I play Checkers, the Grung Druid, and his trusty frog pals, Mango and Junior. And Checkers has found a very interesting thing in the wild today, exploding pumpkin seeds, and is very disappointed that they just explode randomly when you touch them, and you can't just take them with you.
Not yet, at least.
Not yet. But Valeska has thankfully collected the seeds, so there will be much growing when we get back to Egmar.
Jonathan, I really appreciate your professionalism
Yes.
as a podcaster for just blowing past Sophie saying that she wanted snack and cheese and just being like, no, I'm going to introduce myself.
Yeah. Wow.
I think it speaks for itself, I guess.
I think so. But to my left.
I was going to totally call something out, but I guess now I have to stay professional.
Level of professionalism.
Do whatever
Yeah.
you feel is right, because there's a lot of types of professionalism, you know?
Hi, I'm David, and I play Cascarin Brightmane, and I am one of the 4 players around this table. 4 players. And to my left.
What?
Never mind.
I'm on the same page as you, babe. I get it. I thought it. I didn't say
Just
it.
finger guns across the table.
I'll redo that one later. Don't worry about it.
No, it's too late.
Your kids will love it.
Yep.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Steve.
My name is Steve.
It's
What
late.
do you do, Steve?
Yeah.
I am an anti-professionalist. I am sitting here playing Selv Asterlin, the Dragonborn monk. And I am at a loss because I don't have a quip. I don't have a good comeback.
I don't know
know,
what's going on. I got
Steve.
nothing, y'all.
Yeah,
I have thoroughly derailed this entire campaign with snack.
Yeah.
and cheese.
Yeah, well, you know, I feel like we've been doing this for almost 50 episodes now. I don't remember exactly what episode this is, but there's going to be a point where we just run out of banter, right? There's going to be one week where it's like, oh no, we made that joke.
Yeah.
Oh no, no.
Well, it is episode 49, and I think I'm going to introduce my catchphrase this episode.
Now, is it Selv's catchphrase or is it your Steve for your
in the
multimedia career outside the podcast?
In the tradition of everybody kind of doing the little mic checks and stuff that they say.
Got it.
Yeah. So
okay.
this will be Steve's catchphrase is going to be catchphrase.
Catchphrase.
With the clicks.
Got to.
Catchphrase.
Got to. It's imperative.
Now I just have to remember that.
And the finger guns.
And
Also
but
mandatory.
that doesn't come
May
through
not-
on audio.
Dear listeners, you may be questioning that we are in fact a 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast.
And our sanity.
And a few other things about us and about why you have chosen to be here, which again, we do thank you for. But we assure you, it is indeed a high fantasy, high strangeness, very spooky, very friendshipy, very froggy experience that we are purveying here. And how do we know that? Well, let me tell you. The group of the Golden Tree Adventuring Guilders are outside the Red City of Agmar. Your destination? Well, first, a kind of strange settlement that seems to be, at least according to your map, atop a giant tree. You hope that will be the first step towards finding Lorana Moonglove, who you think might be able to help you reforge the armbands of the bones, the undead guards of the Red City. You're still not exactly sure where this is going to take you, or what sort of help she might be able to offer, or where she is exactly, but you have a plan. And you also have a member of the Bones, the Fortunate, who is guiding you, helping to make sure that you all are safe, keeping a few things at bay with their spooky, ooky undead auras, all the good things. But that's not really reflective of your current situation, in that you've all bedded down. You actually were about to play a couple hands of cards with the Fortunate, and a strange apparition appeared behind the Fortunate. It was ethereal. It was not particularly shaped like anything. It was very amorphous, very hard to describe. The last we left our heroes, Kaskrin, Val, and Selv, were all sitting around, about to be dealt this hand of cards, when you all noticed this, and then the Fortunate looked up at you, noticing your eyes were a couple feet above their eye level, and said, "What?"
Val vibe checks the spectral form.
Yep.
And Kaskrin immediately yells to the Fortunate, like, "Get down! There's something behind you!"
Selv will just point behind the Fortunate and just yell out, "Glade Shade," and then kind of
Not everything rhymes in this world.
we're gonna make it that way.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll kind of like roll back and take a defensive stance.
Checkers, you hear people shouting out. What do you do? You're on watch at the moment, last I recall.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah, Checkers is definitely still here. I think I'm between, like, do I keep an eye out in the opposite direction because they've clearly noticed something where they're looking and I don't want to get surrounded?
Yeah, got it.
So I think I might just, like, take a quick look back and then just keep an eye out for anything else that might be approaching
Love
us.
that. Very cool. Val, roll me an insight check. The DC is going to be very high. I mean, that's surprised you to learn.
Boo, 9. I rolled very poorly.
So this is all happening kind of all at once. And you, because it is such an alien, strange, mystical occurrence that you can't, like, and it's happening so quickly and came out of nowhere that you can't get a read on its intention. Checkers, make me a perception check.
21.
You immediately kind of snap into this like hyper awareness mode, trying to assess threats, especially as someone who has spent so much time out here, know the value of knowing what you're up against.
Yep.
You don't see anything else. Like nothing else is appearing. And again, I'm imagining this is all happening relatively quickly, but you do kind of a quick once over and feel very confident. Like you don't see anything else. The only thing is this strange specter.
And at that, Checkers is going to go, Mango, stay here, and jump over to where the rest of the party is to try and see if he can figure out what's going on, because everyone seems very surprised at the moment.
Kaskrin, what does it look? What are you doing to jump into action specifically? Are you just like, I know you yelled out at the Fortunate, hey, get down, and are kind of starting to spring into action. What is it that you're doing specifically?
So Kaskrin is not wearing any of his full plate. Like, he's settling in for a fun night of cards. So in order to really pose any sort of threat, he reaches his hands to the ground. He uses stone forming to pull a spear from the ground and kind of point it above the Fortunate's head in kind of a play to get the spirit away from them somehow.
Awesome. I love that.
Val will attempt to cast Mind Link with the Spectre.
Cool. So again, this is all happening super quick. And again, this is like really a good example of you guys and your quality as a team, I feel like, in a way where like the vibes are immediately everyone's jumping in, doing something, guarding, attacking, defending, assessing the area around you guys. And Val, you kind of like send out very quickly being like, okay, the first kind of read didn't go through. Let me push a little deeper. Val, you reach out and you do make a connection.
Ooh.
You get no distinct thoughts. Like there's no sentences, there's no anything like that. You get more emotion. And what you sense is pain, is sadness, anguish, betrayal. Kaskrin, you extend your rocky spear towards it, and the Fortunate kind of spins around immediately, like you said, springs into action like the supernatural predator that it is, and just kind of looks and pauses. This strange whatever it is extends an appendage to you. It keeps extending, and it extends a couple of, like, several feet towards you. I think only Kaskrin really sees this because of who you are and your background. But just for a moment, you get the distinct impression, again, it's very amorphous. It's very hard to pin down or describe any traits about it. But it appears as if it is a hand, an arm, holding out a sword.
I'm watching this arm, the shadowy arm, extend around us, staying wary, staying conscious, but it's not like it's attacked us yet.
No.
And for the briefest second, as it reaches out to what I think might be its full length, it's just something about the pose, something about the position leaves that impression with me. That it's holding a sword or a weapon of some kind.
You all see this, and you hear, as it extends to Kaskrin, it's very slowly, almost non-threatening in a way. Where, like, if it happened quickly, I'd imagine you're all jumping into action, right? But it's just, you almost just watch, you know, where it's, you don't know how to, your brain doesn't know how to process it because it's so strange. And Kaskrin, you get this flash of insight, and it extends across your spear and kind of crosses it. And you all hear a clang of steel as they kind of intersect.
Even though one is a smoky appendage and the other is stone.
Yes. And then...
All right, I'm out.
I imagine, even at that clang, the Fortunate doesn't really... Like, they've never seen this before, and there's like a second where everyone jumps into action at the sound of steel hitting against steel. And Kaskrin has to be like, hold everyone back, like, hold on. In that this thing is not trying to attack us. I don't know what it's doing, but it's not here to fight.
Quick question. You said the Fortunate kind of like spun around and then didn't react after that. Does it appear like the Fortunate can't see the thing?
Roll me an
that's
insight
there?
check.
20 total.
No, the Fortunate doesn't see it.
Do they react like they heard the sound at all?
No. All the Fortune is reacting to is
us.
You guys reacting.
While this has been happening, there been any other emotion or glimpses with MindLink?
No, great question. But no, it is just this outpouring of these complex, sorrowful, but not angry feelings, if that makes sense.
So I imagine, like, what struck him the first time of, like, why this gave him the impression of it being a sword was that the creature's arm and the way that it was holding its body was indicative of, like, a sword form.
Yes.
And is, like, something that Kaskrin would have trained into other soldiers. And now the moment has arrived as, like, kind of a training duel where the clashing of swords sounds like the beginning of some sort of practice duel or some sort of almost like a martial arts
Like an on guard.
Roll me a history check with advantage.
10.
You just, exactly though, you get the sense that it is almost like offering its blade to you. And not in a, like, I'm doing you a service or something, but in a classical, like you said, we are dueling or we are practicing together. And, like, it's kind of like you said, an on guard kind of position, you hear another clash of steel. This is all happening one right after the other. And at the second clash of steel, it disappears.
And Kaskrin calls out, Selv, did you see where it went? As he's still like holding the spear in place, but is now searching the darkness around our clearing for it.
Mm-hmm.
Val moves Mind Link to the Fortunate.
And you also, as soon as it disappears from your sight, Mind Link ends.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is gone.
Yeah.
The Fortunate, and again, how much like emotion do you get from Mind Link?
Technically, it's to speak telepathically.
Yeah. So you are able to make a connection
Yeah.
to the Fortunate, I guess I'll say. But that colors your interaction with whatever you saw, where it isn't just emotion. You've sensed kind of emotion like from the Untethered and stuff before, but it would strike you as you were able to Mind Link. This thing must have been communicating. The feelings you were feeling and it was kind of projecting to you,
Yeah.
it couldn't form words, and that was kind of its best approximation of communication, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Val's casting Mind Link with the Fortunate to compare their emotions with the Spectre.
So you, and I don't remember if you have mind linked with a regular, a tethered member of the Bones. I don't think so. You get the same kind of like feedback that you would for a normal creature.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way of like, you don't sense the emotions, but you can feel like, there's a connection there. Even if it's a little fuzzy and staticky because it's a weird undead creature, you still like, yep, cool. Normal back and forth.
Gotcha.
Val, do you know what that creature was?
Do you know what that creature was?
Roll me a d20.
Guidance. 13 with guidance.
Okay. Ooh. Boy, what does that tell you? That's such a interesting, like...
Note that I
it's
have
good.
Turn Undead and Arcane Aberration. Like, I gotta know these
I got some
things.
stuff. I got some
relevant
auxiliary...
experience.
Yeah. So, you think you just saw a spirit. And ghosts, spirits, etc. on Rixia, there are a lot of ways that they're formed. Some kind of the classic angry spirit, right? And the ones who are like, I was murdered here and I have unfinished business. But that's not what you felt as you mind linked. And this is why I'm giving all this info, is because you did mind link to it. You also know one of the ways that spirits, echoes, ghosts, whatever they are, appear is similar to the way decades, if not centuries ago, that objects of focus appeared. Where there's a moment so meaningful and profound or painful or joyous or something that it almost leaves traces on the world behind it. There are many ways that this can manifest. It's one of those magical things where each case is different enough that it's hard to nail down a pattern. But you get the sense, because of, again, not because it was angry, not because it was all these other things that these kind of like classic poltergeisty apparitions would offer, that you think it is an echo of some event or some person from Rixia's past who has reached out to you.
I relay this.
Kaskrin is standing kind of on the edge of our clearing, still doing one final sweep in the darkness for this creature. He's got his spear in hand still, and almost absent-mindedly, as if he's just thinking aloud to himself, he says, I think someone needs our help.
So, Selv will gesture to Val and the Fortunate and say, "Deal out the cards again."
Val has not moved, and she has been like preparing her hands basically this entire
Looking
time.
at everyone
And-
else's hands.
No,
Yeah.
Val would never.
And I'm going to, starting with the area of kind of where it formed, I'm going to check the ground and kind of like start making a spiral pattern out and see if I can find, like, if there's a grave or a body, remains,
Yep.
A sword?
anything. A sword, sure.
Roll me a investigation check.
Guidance.
Sophie had
Thank
a
you.
big wind up for that.
Yeah, I was really
Yeah.
waiting.
11.
Nothing immediately strikes you.
Okay.
So I think Checkers is reacting in kind of the same way that Cascarin might be. I think he probably missed the first part of this where the spirit or the thing kind of appeared, and he kind of just caught the second half of it just because he was coming over from where Mango was at. So he's kind of a little bit confused as to what's going on, so he's just going to keep an eye out along with Cascarin, make sure that they're still safe for the night, and just kind of watch as Selv is looking around, checking for things.
So you guys kind of look around for any sign of anything, for clues, for other apparitions leading you somewhere else, or anything. And you don't find anything. You don't know whether it's because it's the night, whether it is because of this strange grassy thing, or maybe because there is nothing to find. But you have this experience.
Yeah.
I won't say weighing on you, but as a punctuation for your evening. And
Oh, Val says like, deal again. Let's go. I'm ready to
I was
play.
gonna say the fortune would be like, so are we not playing cards?
I'm in.
Cascarin's usually pretty excited to play cards. You know, he's passed a lot of evenings this way.
Yeah.
But like you said, this is weighing on him, and so he has a bit of a harder time like getting into it until later in the evening.
Yep.
I was going to say, Checkers would be like, oh, all right, Cascarin's on watch. Great.
Yeah.
I'm in. What's this card do?
Selful will be on watch.
Val takes out one final secret granola bar for Cass. It's like, this is actually the last one.
I know
Val.
I've said that a few times now.
This is it.
I feel like
Feels like you need it.
I was gonna say I feel like Valeska would use that as like a betting token.
No. Cass's emotional well-being is
Yeah,
more
yeah.
important than a game to Val.
Anyone who's playing, roll me 2d6.
Question.
Yes.
Can Val do some type of check to know more about the game so she can be better at it?
Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you all, anyone who's playing, I'm not even going to say you need to make a check.
Okay.
What I will say is you tell me what extra skill that you are kind of using, because it could be sleight of hand, it could be intelligence, it could be whatever. But like, what are you specifically doing? Kind of what's your style of playing this game? And it could be, oh, I know the rules in like a chess way where it's like, I have read this book and I know all of the statistics and I know the openers and this, that, and the other thing. Or it could be like, yeah, I cheat. And so I'm going to use a charisma to cheat or distract my opponents.
Val knows this, like, counting cards in blackjack.
Right.
Like, she knows the statistics
Yeah,
of, like,
right.
what cards are available, like, she is doing the math problems behind
Yep.
the cards.
Checkers is obviously going to cheat.
Yeah, I mean, I said it aloud,
Yes.
being like, I think that probably covers someone.
Yeah, so Checkers is going to use sleight of hand, but he's not going to change his cards around. No, that's far too easy. What he's going to do is he's going to use sleight of hand to change other people's cards around. So they look at them and they go, good, I'm going to win. And then they actually play them and they're different cards.
Different cards.
Yes.
We'll have you just do, I think, just for the sake of math, and I haven't run any numbers, we'll just call it a dexterity check.
Yeah.
And you will add your dexterity bonus and you will add your intelligence bonus, Sophie. Are you still playing
Yes.
Kaskrin? Okay.
It takes him, like I said, it takes him a little bit to get into it, but once he gets going, Kaskrin is the guy who is like talking smack the whole evening, like trying to distract other people while he's like playing his own cards. Like he's got his head in the game, but he's like trying to distract other people with his words.
I love it. Yes, awesome. So some charisma, it sounds like.
You said 2d6?
2d6. I'll tell you, the Fortunate is very good at this, and is rolling 3d6.
Oh no.
Jeez.
Ooh, rolled really good too.
Oh no.
10.
9.
11.
16. You guys get demolished. Like, it is as if you are playing a different game. Like, if it was just the three of you, ooh, what good times. The Fortunate destroys you.
We're still playing 3 Dragon Ante?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
saying 5 dragons,
Did you guys forget there's 2 more dragons? And we will just carry this on. And the Fortunate is really interested in playing for money.
Yeah.
And, like, it can be, like, a couple copper. But it's like...
That would put money on it.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, Kaskrin's 100%.
It's lightly just, like, kind of pushing you guys to be like...
I only have these 3 gold coins.
Fortune's... Oh, that counts. That's fine. Yep, cool. You guys play however many hands you
I
feel
float
appropriate.
Checkers copper once he loses those 3
Yeah.
gold coins.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'll take the next watch. So like as we keep playing throughout the night, I'll swap Selvin for the game as I go watch stuff.
And again, it is very extremely low stakes.
Except for the 3 gold.
Except for the 3 gold. That was a particularly rich pot to
Yeah.
begin with.
Can feed a family for a month.
Yeah, right, exactly. The Fortune might even feel bad about taking those 3 gold, but not really.
Val will mindly the Fortune and be like, don't feel bad. You earned it.
Yeah.
Almost feel bad. And, usually it would be like, money gets kind of changed hands. Everyone comes away, maybe
lose
they lose
all
a
of our
bit.
money.
Yeah.
You guys get cleaned out. Again, it's cleaned out for like 20 copper or something, but like you guys get wiped. Just wiped in ways that you're like, I don't even understand why we're
Val's like doing the math in her mind of like, that was statistically impossible. How did that happen?
yeah, right,
There
exactly.
was like a 1% chance and they still
I
won.
changed their cards around and everything. How did they still
yeah,
win?
right, exactly.
Except you changed them to better cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly. And the Fortunate is having a blast. Is loosening up in ways that you haven't seen them loosen up. And again, they are a relatively loose individual as far as the bones go, but is like starts just kind of like chatting with you guys and is like shooting the shit a little bit with you guys and feels a little bit more full of life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And is a little bit more animated and a little bit more personable than they have been, even as they have been perfectly fine, perfectly fun and nice and whatever, and had their own, personality.
Is it almost like their professionalism has been like let down? Like it's more chatting among.
Ooh, roll me an insight check. I'll ask for an insight check.
13.
That is good enough. It's not even that their professionalism is going down. It's just that they're so enthusiastic about it.
Okay.
So it's not like it's not that they're letting their guard down.
Mm-hmm.
It's that like their enthusiasm for this is taking over.
Gotcha.
Where like playing cards is so much fun and so engaging that like they're getting more energized, kind of like going through it and interacting with you guys.
Quick poll of the table. Is it likely to bring down the mood or be okay if I ask if this is how the Fortunate got their name?
Makes
The
sense.
shield said to ask how
Yeah.
the Fortunate
Yeah.
got their
The
name.
stone did.
This is as
Yeah,
good a time as any.
Yeah.
Val will lightheartedly quip towards the Fortunate as she hands over all of her copper.
Yeah.
And I think just ask it in that way, like, this must be how you got your name.
Yeah. The Fortunate kind of like
And I'm
as
like smiling, like happy
Right.
that she's learned the game and
having a nice time and is
Yeah.
asking collegiately as the Fortunate is like counting the pile of coppers that they are like inexplicably like putting in their like bag,
yeah.
though they have no earthly need for money. I mean, okay, it's a little yes and no.
Okay.
Yes is the short answer.
I'm here for the long answer too.
The long answer isn't much longer. We pretty much all have our names. It is a strange thing, but an indelible thing, a universal thing that we each have our passions, things that excite us, things that we are preoccupied by. Over the years that we have been conscious, that we have been wandering, that we have refound our place in Agmar, Shield likes to say that our interests in who we are closer than sheer happenstance. I have a reputation of taking chances out on patrols. The Shield has a reputation of protecting.
Please tell me the stone loves geology.
I'm not going to tell you anything. The Fortunate just kind of like shrugs and is like, you should ask him. But he will be delighted to show you.
Are they going to show us their pet rock?
I'm imagining like a collection
Yeah.
of like super cool like crystal minerals they found in their centuries of being. It's going to be a sweet rock collection. I still
Yeah.
feel excited.
It's
for
like
this
all
rock
these like
collection.
cool geodes and like
Yeah.
things that.
Yeah, and the like, the Fortunate just kind of like, I'm imagining, I don't know if
Val
this is all
gets really
literally
excited.
character.
Val gets really excited. Some like Sir Checkers probably says something like that.
Yeah,
and
some amount of this, I'm
Val
imagining in
immediately dives into defending geology.
We're just like imagining the cool rocks the stone must have
Yeah.
in their sweet collection.
And the Fortunate is just like nodding. Like isn't detracting or adding to this just like brainstorming. It's just like,
I feel like
Yeah.
Selv like puts a hand on Val's shoulder of like, hey, you probably need to be a little bit quiet. 'cause
Yeah, right.
We're gonna attract something that's gonna murder us.
Yeah.
and the Fortunate just kind of, nods and says, yeah, we each have our thing. One more round before bed?
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Deals it out. I'm imagining this time the Fortunate would suggest watches, but I will blow past the dice rolling. Nothing happens in the night because I've already pre-rolled.
And there's nothing you could have rolled that would have let you see this.
Yeah. Damn it, David! You've read me like a book.
Aha!
Hi everyone, it's me, DM Nathan, coming to you once again with the mid-roll. First, 3 quick reminders for you all. Number 1, hey, why don't you get up and stretch a little bit? Reminder 2, be sure to grab yourself a refreshing glass of water. And reminder 3, be sure to follow us over on Twitter at reckless_attack for the latest updates, art, jokes, promos, and more. Finally, we are excited to bring you an ad this week. Ads and sponsorships are great ways to help us keep the lights on, as well as introduce you all to people and products you might be interested in. A real win-win if you ask me. Ad-free early access episodes are available on Patreon. And now, a word from our sponsors.
What was that recipe again? Oh, right. There it is. New locations. Yes, 4 should do. For flavor, new beasties. 30 will be perfect. For body, new spells and items. 20 of one, 30 of the other. Yes, yes. And for the final touch, 2 chilling adventures to set the mood. Perfect. Baba will love this. Fill your bowl with horror this holiday season with Baba Lasaga's Nocturnes and Nightmares. This supplement for 5th edition will sate your hunger for fright, providing everything you need to bring chills to your table. Coming October 21st to the DM's Guild. Make sure to be hungry.
The next morning breaks.
In the morning, I am actually going to take another sweep around and just kind of look for, again,
Great idea.
grave remains, weapons, anything that might be around here.
I imagine Val is like making breakfast, maybe like making a small fire to get some like hot water boiling, and she just sees Selv like pacing around, and as he comes past her, she just like touches his calf and says like, "May you find what you seek." And she's like groggy because she stayed up late playing cards. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Whatever
Like,
it is, good
do
luck.
it faster.
Good luck. Roll me either survival or investigation, and you can do it with advantage because you're kind of doing it slowly. Or doing it, kind of like taking time, all that good stuff.
Okay, this will be survival. 24
Ooh.
total.
Nice.
So last night you weren't sure whether you missed something or whether it was dark or whatever. Today you're really taking your time and you're really going over stuff. You're checking, tracks. You are looking for bent grass. You're doing everything. And you are more sure today that there's nothing here.
Okay. I actually feel a little better about that.
Yeah.
You guys are, you eat, you pack up all this stuff. The Fortunate kind of leads you in the same direction. And there has never been a point, I'll say, now that it has been a couple days, it may occur to you guys, there's never been a point where the Fortunate has like asked for directions, has never been like, oh, are we going the right way? Can we check your map, make sure to look for any landmarks or anything like that? The Fortunate just walks. And you guys, I presume, follow.
Yeah.
Don't
And
tell you
Val
what your
has been
character's
like
doing.
making a map, so she's kind of had
Right.
chances to double check. But
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, we checked like what records we have, but it's like we never ask, and it seems like we're still right. So
Mhm.
Either the map that we have or the one that Val is creating, Selv will kind of point to where we camped for the night
Yeah.
and just say, "Mark the apparition, please."
Val marked it down.
Little ghost.
quest marker.
Yeah. As you guys are breaking camp, actually, one of you notices who has the highest passive perception.
So
Might be you. My passive perception is
Probably
16.
close.
mine's 14.
16,
Oh, okay.
14.
My passive
Ah.
insight is 17.
Ooh. I'm very
Dang.
into Checkers and Selv being the ones to see this.
Nice.
In the distance, a good hunk of the way away, the two of you see what appears to be a ship
Oh.
rise from behind a copse of trees.
Ooh.
It appears to just be a boat, and you can't really make it out from here.
Like floating or riding on what looks like riding on the grass, maybe.
Well, it starts riding on the grass and then takes off into the air.
Guys. It's a floating boat.
Val stares into the air with her mouth a little ajar, like, what?
Yeah, Cascrin, like, it's trying to follow it. He didn't see it initially, and then, like,
Is there any name?
It's too far away to
Yeah.
say.
Oh, okay.
I was going to ask, how far is it? Because I think at this point, Checkers would definitely start running after it. Like, it would take a concerted effort to stop Checkers at this point.
It is a ways away.
Okay.
Again, it is not horizon level away,
Okay.
but it is, just with the kind of plains and hilly things, it's a ways away.
there's a lot of, like, that can't be what it is, right? Like, and it's, like, trying to squint at it and, like, look at it from a different angle. It's like, is that a boat?
So Selv will not take his eyes off of that ship, but will like tap Val and then tap the map. And just be like,
I got it. It's down there.
I got it. It's on there. He's, like, scribbling a crayon drawing.
Mm-hmm.
What type of ship/boat is this?
Well, Sophie, I'm glad that you asked. It is one sail. I say this being aware that I'm describing a land sky boat, where therefore any amount of boat is a lot of boat. But it is not huge. It is a flat-bottomed boat, which would be usually for navigating like rivers or that sort of thing, but also could be for landing
It's good
on
for
the
land,
ground.
yeah.
Who is trained in history?
Val.
Is the answer just Val?
Just Val.
Roll me a history check.
Guidance.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Butts. 11.
That still gives you, double digits still gives you some useful info.
Okay.
2 pieces of useful info,
Mm-hmm.
specifically. 1, ages ago, and I mean that in the sense of like time, right? Of like an age.
Mm-hmm.
There were, in some parts of the world, including on this continent, very famously, flying ships.
Mm-hmm.
The most famous of them, of course, being the Citadel, the sunken Citadel that is east of Agmar, which is kind of like a giant, huge version that is a city, right? But
Yeah.
similar timeline and similar principle. And the other thing you know with your baseline check is that these are all, they're all very old. The last time that any of these existed was like as the Pentarchy was starting. So like
Wow.
a long time ago, not immemorable,
Mm-hmm.
but a long, long time ago. And these are not seen. These don't exist anymore
Mhm.
as far as you or most people know. But there is one right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Casgrin was having a hard time believing what happened yesterday. It's like, we barely saw it, so maybe it didn't actually happen. But this is, like, even less probable. Like, it would take a lot
Yeah,
to convince
kinda.
him that this is not a hallucination.
Val punches Cass in the arm, and
Yeah.
then it's just like punch me back, and like it's just like make like it's like pitching
Giant
and
boulder fist.
And it's still there.
Ow, okay, that's good, huh?
Scientific method.
Yeah.
And
No matter how many times I hit you, it's still there.
and you see it kind of like take off.
Casgrin's actually going to pull out a telescope from his bag.
Ooh.
And try
You've
to
had
make
a telescope this entire time.
I don't know, don't you? We're adventurers, of course. It's in the standard adventurers pack.
It is.
Sure, I don't know. This is-
It's like 10 days of ration, 50 feet of hempen rope, and like a bedroll.
and a sweet ass telescope.
I am very fine with Casgrin being like, yeah, I picked one up when we were in the city.
Compared to us, what direction is it flying? Toward us, away from us?
It's kind of going in a little bit the opposite direction that you guys were going, where it's like you guys are heading, again, kind of west-southwest, and it is kind of going almost semi-parallel to you guys, makes it seem too intentional, where it's just kind of generally going off away from you guys, kind of sort of towards the way.
So
you
in
came.
like our naval strategy that we're now fluent in because Cass taught us for the library presentation.
That's true.
Is it doing any defensive or offensive naval maneuvers?
Well, let's
towards us?
have Casgrin. You pull out your telescope.
I want to add one quick thing.
Yes.
Checkers would say, it seems like Lorana Moonglove's the kind of person to have a flying boat. Maybe we should go investigate.
Checkers. I think this is the one time I fully agree that we need to go check this out.
Casgrin, you pull out your telescope. Are you looking for anything in particular or just kind of trying to generally size it up?
I'm just trying to see it, but also see if there's any people on the deck.
Yeah, cool. Ooh, make me a perception check with advantage.
21.
Cool. So you take out this telescope, and I'm imagining it's, a field telescope, basically.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's not like you're not
Like
setting up a tripod.
Is it like an eyeglass?
Yeah. It's just like, it's a tube with mirrors, so like it's a pretty standard, like, soldier's
It's a
adventure.
spyglass type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I'll give you 3 pieces of information.
Nice.
One, because Val/Sophie, you're all characters to me, reminded me that you went in depth in your naval presentation recently at the library.
Thank
so
you
maybe
for
it's
reminding me too.
yeah, it's maybe fresh in your mind. You would see that it's not. Seems like it is just kind of taking off, and it's not circling towards you or anything like that. And you guys actually can see it. It's starting to take off and kind of swerves a little bit kind of back towards the direction that you guys are going. Certainly not heading towards you or anything like that. You would also be able to see, you can't pick out details, but there are people on it who are crewing it. And it seems like it is just kind of running like a boat would for as much time as Kaskrin has spent on boats. It seems like, yeah, they're all doing boat things. The third one, because you rolled so well, is you actually can see on its side a name.
Ooh.
And the name is the Aquarius.
And just to double check, like it looks like a regular ocean ship boat
Yes.
just flying.
Yes.
With a flat bottom.
Yes.
Gotcha. And no other discernible characteristics that would indicate how it's flying.
No, not from here, and not from kind of what you're able to tell just looking at it as it's kind of flying away from you.
Does it have... Freaking what are the flaps called with cannons?
sail?
No, the things you... The cannons on the side.
The portholes?
It would have, yeah.
Portholes, are they a window?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's anything that you...
With a 21, you see both portholes and cannons.
And-
whatever
okay.
each of them are.
Okay.
But yeah, you would see it is actually armed. That is a good point.
Uh-huh.
What I should say is that there are kind of like closed holes where cannons might be. But the other thing that you would notice, and I should have said this
Cannon holes.
previously with a 21, yeah, the classic term, cannon holes, is you see at the front, and I'm not even going to pretend like I know the nautical terms. It's aft. I don't know.
It's fore.
The front bit. You see a large harpoon. Is the other kind of notable characteristic.
No.
Yeah, I just thought that too.
No, you wouldn't.
Do what?
Make sky
Make whalers.
whalers that are hunting sky whales.
Who's
Those
to say?
poor, glorious, majestic creatures of the sky
Who's to say?
should only have to worry about weird lightning creatures.
Flesh lightning.
Kaskrin turns to the group and says, I want to go find this thing. I don't know if we could catch up to it if we tried.
No, you can easily, like, it is not going the same direction you are.
Yeah.
And it is definitely, it's not blazing fast, but is definitely moving faster than you guys are. And certainly, even if you were moving at the same speed, you would not be able to really catch it. The angles are all
Right.
wrong, especially in this strange grasslands that you are not familiar with.
But Val, I know, the bone situation, tragic, truly.
You see as the fortunate just kind of like looms and looks over you.
But just think about those sky whales, they're defenseless. They have little babies with them.
I
They
did
only
not
have
say that
one
part out
baby
loud. That
every
was
5 years.
That was
Yeah.
Sophie yelling that at Nathan.
only one baby.
Val did not say that in character.
I thought you were going to go with the, if we had an airship,
Yeah.
we could get there a lot faster.
Yeah.
There's lots of reasons why checkers would want to go for an airship as opposed to actually completing the mission.
Right. Yeah, exactly. As kind of this clamor dies down, you carry on with your march. You see two main things. Actually, three things. One, you continue to hear that loud yowling. And this time it is a little closer. Two, there is a point where the fortunate stops in their tracks and lowers their hands to get down. You can't see it, but something just screams across the sky. And you're all bathed in shadow for just a moment. And the third thing that happens is every hour or so, you see the apparition in daylight. And it's very strange, and it is as strange as it was at night, it is almost equally strange in daytime, where it's fainter, but appears to be the same thing. Each time it kind of extends its appendage in what is now a familiar gesture. Suddenly, you guys are plunged into twilight. The sky darkens. It is not night, but it is also not day. The sounds of battle start to echo around you, faintly at first and growing in fervor and in severity. You see more apparitions start to appear. And then the apparition, and you somehow know it now. You know it is the one, appears in front of you and holds out its sword hand once more. And you hear a voice. And it says,
"Fight alongside me. Be the brothers and sisters who did not, and put me to rest."
and that is where we'll end the session this week, everybody. Yay! See you next week, everyone! Pacow!
Sick.
Okay.
I hope so. I'm assuming we get 5 more seconds of quiet. But another 5 seconds, I guess.
Start the
Now
timer
we gotta
again.
start over.
You say butts at the 4th second.
I wanted to do it, but I wanted to do it so bad.
I was keeping it so much held back.
Yeah.
It was really rough.
I have wanted to do that every time you've asked me
And
that.
I wasn't looking at anyone. I was I'm down here. Oh, that's a very interesting pattern in the carpet. I'm definitely not about like a millimeter from just cracking up.
It's like those
couldn't be.
intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
I just didn't,
Yes.
But what
I
if
didn't
you
have a
did?
filter.
What if I said butt right now? What if I said butt right in this instant?
1, 2, 3, 4 butts. 2, 3, 4 butts. 2, 3, 4.